Good evening and welcome. You're watching Breaking Views with me, Sanket Upadhyay, a show where we get you all the views so that you get the complete picture. Now, only yesterday we got you a sort of a follow-up on the investigation of the police as far as the Morbi incident is concerned. It was 15 days yesterday. It's 16 days since that incident now. And the Gujarat High Court has now taken up the matter. In fact, there are some very, very strong remarks that have been made by the court. What has the court said? Let's put that on the screen right now. The court says the municipality, a government body, has defaulted, which ultimately killed 135 people. Notice the use of the words. The municipality, a government body, has defaulted, which ultimately killed 135 people. Now, of course, this is an observation. These are strong observations, not an order. But still, look at the words that have been used. The High Court has also wrapped the Gujarat government on the Morbi case, where it says the state shall also place on record reasons why disciplinary proceedings against chief officer of the civic body aren't commenced. Then the court says, and this is very significant, the largesse of the state seems to have been granted without there being any tender floated in this regard. All those important questions that everybody seems to be asking, and it almost appears as if the state government or the investigation is very conveniently choosing to overlook all these aspects, have been raised by the court. Why was the tender for the repair work of a public bridge not floated? Why weren't bids invited? The court also goes on to say, how was an agreement for such an important work completed in just 1.5 pages? Was the largesse of the state given to Ajanta company without any tender being floated? Extremely powerful observations by the court. And now it will be very interesting to see what eventually the response is going to be. But you know, this does build a very important case that 16 days later, on the investigation front, not much movement. So we come back to that big question that we are asking on Breaking Views. Is a court-monitored probe the only way to get justice in the Morbi incident? Tanushree Pandey, our colleague, is now joining us. Tanushree, very powerful observations by the court. Any reaction so far from the government or the Morbi authorities?
Well, it's election season, Sanket, and the political parties are involved and, busy with their high decibel election campaigns. I was with Rivaba Jadeja, who is a BJP candidate for the Bharatiya Janata Party from Jamnagar West constituency, and I categorically asked her for a reaction on the Morbi bridge collapse, also as to, what the court has to say about the criminal negligence. But she kept evading my question, Sanket, and finally she said that it's a campaign trail and do not ask me any controversial questions. She was absolutely tight-lipped, about the Morbi bridge collapse. So I think that says a lot, that there is no political reaction on the ground as far as this bridge collapse is concerned, because it's, I think, half a month to go for the polling, and all the parties right now, including the Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress, and of course the Bharatiya Janata Party, are all busy with their high decibel election campaign. But as far as the court observation is concerned, most importantly, the hearing is going to continue tomorrow, where the court has now appointed a bailiff, basically an officer who has the power to arrest as well, and that person has been asked, that officer bailiff has been asked to ensure that the chief of municipal corporation of Morbi is present in the court, because he wasn't present in the court today, to which the High Court Chief Justice even said that, asked him to not act over smart, because let's not forget 135 people have lost their lives, mostly were children and women. And how is it possible that even after several notices, a municipal corporation chief is not present for such an important hearing? So let's see how the state government responds to all those important questions, and as you were rightly mentioning, tomorrow as the hearing continues in the Gujarat High Court.
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Tanushree. Tanushree was very, very actively tracking the investigation and all the human interest stories, in fact, stories of immense pain and suffering of all those people who lost their loved ones. What is the answer that this administration would like to give to those people, if I may ask? Thank you very much, Tanushree, for joining us. Gaurav Pandey, spokesperson of the Congress, Reena Gupta, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, Alok Vats, leader of the BJP, Dilip Singh Kshatriya, senior journalist of the New Indian Express, and Sanjay Rana is a political analyst. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us. let me first begin with you, Mr. Alok Vats, and ask you this question. You know, only yesterday we were talking about immensely slow investigation in this case. Look at the sort of things that the court has observed. These are extremely powerful observations. I beg your pardon, Priyanka Kakkar from the Aam Aadmi Party is now with us. My apologies, Priyanka. Priyanka of the Aam Aadmi Party is now with us. Thank you. You know, my question to you is, Mr. Vats, look at what the court, Gujarat High Court, is saying. The municipality, a government body, has defaulted, which ultimately killed 135 people. Has defaulted, which ultimately killed. Look at the word that has been used. The court repeatedly says, the state shall also place on record reasons why disciplinary proceedings against the chief officer of the civic body are not commenced. You have still not started that inquiry. The largesse of the state seems to have been granted without there being any tender floated in this regard. How such an important work completed in just 1.5 pages? Now, these are the questions that beg answers. But what have we got after 16 days in the investigation? And even now, not a word mentioned about the Oreva company owners.
Let me tell you, Sanket, at the very outset, yesterday also I said that there has been lapses on account of accountability of people involved in this massacre, rather Holocaust. So now the court has taken cognizance and things are moving and should move at a faster pace, and justice should be meted out to those who have been aggrieved by this. But yes, there has been an SIT formed, some people have been taken into custody. The things are moving, but things are moving utterly slow. There is no harm in admitting that. It should have moved in a faster pace compared to the gigantic massacre that has taken place there. I quite agree with this, that Morbi civic body has not been taken to task, neither the owner of Oreva has been questioned till date. So things have to be speeded up, and thanks to the High Court rulings, I think now things should gain much pace in resolving this issue. But ultimately, those who are guilty will not be spared. That I can assure you from the Bharatiya Janata Party side.
Okay. Priyanka Kakkar, I want to come to you now and ask you this question. What do you make of what the court has observed today? And I must reiterate over here that the court has not issued an order. These are notices, and through the course of their the proceedings, these are oral observations, but very, very powerful observations.
Good evening to everyone, Sanketji. Sanketji, you know, the justice must not only be done, but it also must seem to be done. So this is an appreciable step by the Honorable High Court, definitely. I'm certain now the Honorable High Court will also look into the fact that in August 2020, when the Oreva company wrote to the Morbi municipality and literally threatened them to give them a full contract, otherwise they would do a temporary work and restart the Junta Bridge when they did not even have the contract at that time. I am certain that the Honorable High Court will look into the fact that a new DC was appointed prior to the grant of this contract without a tender. I am certain of the fact that the Honorable High Court will look at the fact that possibly prior to elections there were certain electoral, if there were certain electoral bonds involved. I'm certain of the fact that the Honorable High Court will look into the fact that how was Oreva able to outsource it to a third company? In the first place, a company which had the experience in clock manufacturing got this contract without a tender, and then it was able to outsource it to a third party. I'm also certain of the fact that the Honorable High Court will look into the fact that the government filed an affidavit through a Sarkari Vakil even before the investigation was complete, even before the SIT gave any report, and named certain low officials of the Oreva company. I'm certain of the fact, in case all of this does not happen, the BJP will possibly now do their bulldozer politics and run it over the Malik of Oreva company's house and offices.
Okay, Gaurav Pandey, your views. Let me just quickly take opening comments on the observations of the court and then we kickstart. Gaurav.
Sanket, what the Honorable Court has said is exactly the questions or the sentiment of the people on the ground, not only in Morbi, but across Gujarat and across India. That's one. And that's also the sentiment of the Congress. We've been raising this issue and we've held multiple press conferences and protests on this issue in the last 15 days. Talking about what the BJP has done or what now the court has said, very rightly, why the BJP government is so generous towards the culprits, towards the Oreva group. The SIT which has been formed, it's a sham because no one till date, no journalist, nobody, no activist or not even government official has ever seen the order in writing, the written order of the SIT. That does not exist. The SIT is only it's in the air. It's being discussed on social media. It's total sham. Why Jaisukh Patel of Oreva has not been, forget about arresting, he's not even questioned. And there is a reason behind that. Because the BJP, the minister in BJP government, Purushottam Rupala, he's the relative of Jaisukh Patel. They are relatives. And Jaisukh Patel has financial relationships with not only with the top businessmen from Gujarat and also the people, the ministers in the BJP. This is the only reason he's being protected, and the BJP wants people to forget about
which is
200
why I asked
those
this
who
very
died in
important
Morbi.
question, Mr. Sanjay Rana. That is our only hope, the courts, and not the investigation process which is going on. That the court will come in, it will ask these tough questions, which, by the way, investigators should have asked of themselves and of the people whom they were investigating. Now the court has stepped in. So do you feel that only a court-monitored investigation can help us make any sense of what exactly happened? We all know what happened. But how about
Good evening, Sanket.
bringing the culprit to book?
Yeah. Good evening, Sanket, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Obviously, sport is not the only one who is going to question mark on the investigation. Obviously, SIT has been formed and SIT will submit their proper report and obviously report in the form the people are looking for. Number one, if the court, people are going on the court and they seek their support, obviously court will do the observation. They will, whatever they feel, they will order. But please understand, we need to wait till the investigation is going on and SIT is not submitting their report. As far as Oreva is concerned, obviously if it is owned by some businessman or any company is owned by some businessman, whether the Tata, Birla, whosoever is there, but we cannot question mark honor of the company, or we cannot file a complaint on honor of the company, because honor of the company is not doing anything on that. They have a set of people, those who are performing the job, whether the vice president project or whosoever is there. Obviously, investigation, I'm saying investigation is going on, and we need to wait till the report is coming. Yes, review observation which we received, obviously we can see the Honorable High Court which you have presented in front of all of us. Obviously it's a question mark, and but I would say that I would here put my submission that we should wait. We should not question mark on the authority or the government or anyone till the time we are not having a black and white report in front of the court and in front of the people.
Exactly. So may I know how long should it take for the investigators, Mr. Rana? How long should it take the investigators to have answered this very simple question that now the court has asked? That why a tendering process was not followed? Judge says bridge repair agreement only 1.5 pages long. Why is the Morbi civic body not in court? Why are they acting so smart?
Okay.
These are absolutely basic questions. I'm pretty sure in 16 days, with the intelligence that Gujarat police officials have, they should have started investigation along these lines.
Yes, absolutely. It's a pretty standard question, and everyone asks this kind of question. But when we ask any question, then we should have a proof and we should get all the details. Therefore, the SIT will get all the whether tender were floated.
Sir, are we not aware that the contract was only 1.5 pages long? Are we not aware that a contract was awarded to a clock manufacturing company? Are we not aware who that Babu was or who that municipal authority member was who signed this contract? It's all clear as day, and yet there is no forward movement.
Sanket, I'll give the example, as you rightly mentioned, is a clock manufacturing company. If you remember that, how Tata started in 1994 and they were manufacturing garments. Okay, and 1903.
Sir,
they have started.
One more. You cannot compare an organization like the Tatas with Oreva Clock Manufacturing Company. You see, this is an old bridge, 100-year plus bridge. Right? It requires, first of all, any bridge requires expertise. A hanging bridge, and that too this old, requires even more expertise. So I don't think I'm really convinced with the argument that you're placing. Mr. Kshatriya. Mr. Kshatriya, I'm going to limit myself to the investigation and the fact that it is not moving. It is a fact. 16th day, not moving. Now the court has started observing. Mr. Kshatriya, do you feel that a court-monitored probe could take this any forward? And what is the track record of the SITs of the Gujarat Police?
See, these are the basic question what court asked today. We are asking since from the bridge collapse. The basic question we are asking, and we are still not getting the answer. First of basic question is, where is Jaisukh Patel, the owner of Oreva company? And where and still what kind of investigation is police doing, or why they are not briefing media, any kind of thing that what they are doing in their investigation. The second thing you asked about the SIT. So in your last program, I also mentioned that in 1979, when Morbi Dam collapsed, there was also an investigation team and SIT, all things were floated. But still, after the 40 years, no one convicted. So no one can trust on the SIT or investigation team. The police and the investigation team is in questions since from the beginning. See, they not mention even the FIR about the owner of the company, or they given the tender. See, whom they arrested, the security person, whom they arrested, the ticket vendor. But they even don't question municipality chief officer. They question municipality chief officer only after media raise the questions. What they even don't arrest, or they even don't detain the chief municipality officer. See, these are the loopholes that we are seeing on the ground. Rather than this, there are many questions on the ground that how the contract floated and how he get, or how the company A get the contract. These are the basic questions that we are asking, and we are not still getting any kind of answer. So there are a lot of questions rather than this, like which kind of police investigation and who are the officers.
Alok, let me quickly come back and now take a round of comments from all of you on who must investigate this from here on. Mr. Alok Vats, do you feel that the court's intervention is a top priority from here on? Look at what the court has observed. The sort of questions that the court has asked is exactly the questions that are being asked by everyone of the authorities. And yet the investigation has not been able to reach that point.
Sanket, it's not that the investigations were not on, people were not arrested. All these things was going on, but yes, people wanted much faster pace. Now, since it has come under the High Court purview, I think it will go faster. But let me tell you one thing, that justice will be meted out. Those who will be found
so in a way you are admitting that in a way you are admitting that the court intervention is required. Otherwise, the authorities are not going to move. Otherwise, the administration is not going to move forward and will end up protecting their own.
Listen, Sanket, now since court has already stepped in, things will move faster.
Which means they were not moving fast, no?
It was moving.
You do admit.
It will move even faster.
Sir, what fast?
It will come to your in your domain.
What fast, sir? You tell me. Let me place certain questions in front of you. Were the authorities not aware that a municipal commissioner was responsible for this contract? Was the police not aware that a previous municipal commissioner was removed because he objected to this contract being given to this company? Is the police not aware that people responsible for opening the bridge many days earlier and not receiving a fitness certificate are the owners, a decision which the owner of a company takes and not a ticket collector? And yet 16 days later, not one person has been questioned apart from the 9 who were arrested. Not one.
Sanket, if there had not been loopholes, this wouldn't have happened. There have been loopholes, but please wait, have some patience. Things will be done accordingly, and those who will be found guilty will be taken to task.
Gaurav Pandey and Priyanka Kakkar, one by one, please. Mr. Gaurav.
Sanket, I want to ask Mr. Sanjay Rana, if he is going to construct a house tomorrow or renovate his house, will he give contract to a construction company or a clock, someone who's repairing clocks in
I'll give you the answer. I'll give you the answer.
Wait.
No, one by one. Please,
you
one by one.
answer
Mr. Rana, one by one.
when your turn comes.
Yeah.
And it is outrageous when it is being said that please wait, time will take its own course. You know, almost 200 people have died, and it's been 15 days. Forget about questioning Jaisukh Patel. What if he runs away, as it has been the pattern? He runs away and goes settles in London. Who's going to bring him back? Has his passport been confiscated at least? Not at all. All of this tells us that the government, due to the elections, is wanting to protect the real culprits, and they are not willing to take any actions. And after the elections are over, it doesn't matter to them.
Okay. Priyanka, your response.
I must tell the BJP spokesperson here that, he said that investigations happened and चौकीदार have been arrested. तो सर इस केस में चौकीदार चोर नहीं है, पहली चीज. दूसरा, you asked repeatedly that one should wait. Sir, we are ready to wait. What had happened is you were not ready to wait, and through a sarkari vakil, you put an affidavit stating that these were the culprits. Without an investigation, you gave that affidavit through the sarkari vakil. Sir, you are not ready to wait. You want to sit on the TV debate and say this. Sir, court is cognizant of the matter now. All right, the court is going after the court is looking at the officer who is given this contract without a tender. What about you, sir? Why is your CM not resigning like our Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has asked? When will Bhupendra Patel step down? Why hasn't he stepped down? Why hasn't the Oreva company Malik arrested, sir? This is a clear case of corruption, Sanket.
Which is
why,
I mean, these are things that should have happened. Till now, Mr. Rana, my final question. Till now, these things that's so obvious. These are such obvious questions. At least call them for questioning. I'm saying call them for questioning. Now the court is also observed. Call them for questioning at least. First step, Mr. Rana.
Who are you to say that he should be arrested and resign? Why?
No, one moment. Let's please follow the investigation, the course of the investigation, which is not happening very clearly. Mr. Rana. Call the owners for investigation. Call the municipal commissioner for investigation.
Sanket, we need to understand how investigations happened in India. Obviously, it takes time. And when you talk about the 9 people, those who were arrested, why have we not questioned? Obviously, police must be asked, have multiple round of questions and answers from these folks. As far as investigation is concerned, obviously, a lot of loopholes are there. If the loopholes are there, they need to have proper.
Which is why, do you feel that the court must intervene?
Documentation.
Sir, the court, instead of depending on an SIT, which previous SITs also have a very checkered history.
No.
Should the court now intervene and order a court-monitored investigation?
No. Sanket, if you look at investigation, 15 days is too short to do the investigation and find out all the papers and put in front of the court. Obviously, we need to have at least a month and a half time to get all the papers which are required.
I don't know what sort of paperwork is required for a very obvious thing which even the court has now observed. Very clearly now the court is also asking that why is such an important agreement only 1.5 pages long? Why is Morbi civic body not in court? Why tenders were not floated? And has the government body defaulted, which led to the killing of 135 people? Can courts now offer help? That is the big question.
Yeah, court has sent a notice to civic body. Who received that later? This is one important question.
We are going to continue debating this.
When you're talking about
let's see what the government says in the court. But the court has taken cognizance, and it's high time, because a good, speedy investigation is the only way that you can deliver justice. Good night and goodbye.